Exclusivity in gaming. We're gonna have to talk about it today. It's a topic I've talked about before. Topic I actually have some pretty passionate opinions about and beliefs about, and it is affecting the motorsports gaming industry today because of IndyCar. Now I'll talk about the what's going on there. I'll also touch on NASCAR as well. Obviously NASCAR is kind of like the number one thing that I care about. Formula One probably number two. IndyCar number three. But today is mostly about IndyCar because the news came out today. I didn't actually know this. I thought it was a console exclusive that maybe Motorsport Games had with IndyCar. I did not know it was like an exclusive in terms of like everything. And so essentially the news came out today that iRacing, who has, the IndyCar name on there, IndyCar series logo, they run the Indy 500, when that goes on in May, the iRacing Indy 500, which is probably one of their most popular events that they run, and they're not going to be able to do that. That's done on December 31st, 2022. So at the end of this season, or not season, at the end of this year, heading into 2023, iRacing is going to have to remove that. And actually, there might be more that they might have to remove. They don't know until the new license agreement is finalized. I'll put the post up there by Greg West on the IndyCar license update, so you'll see it on the screen. But essentially, when that new license agreement is in effect, then they'll see what the real extent of it is and like what can and can't they have, because they have the cars on there. Let's actually just read the post. Our current license agreement with IndyCar is set to expire on December 31st. They've signed an exclusive license with another developer. That developer is Motorsport Games. That goes into effect on January 1st, 2023. While we are still working on finalizing a new license with IndyCar, it is clear that there will be some notable changes to the way we are able to present IndyCar racing on iRacing. Most significantly, we will no longer be able to run an official IndyCar branded series, and there will not be an iRacing Indy 500. You will also see the removal of the IndyCar series logo from our sites. We could plan to continue to support the Dallara race cars, the IR18, the Dan Weldon 12, the Dallara IR05. There will be no changes, unlimited use and racing in regard to the non-IndyCar series at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for other series, which is NASCAR, IMSA, etc. Until the new license agreement is finalized, we won't know all the details, so there may be further changes. Now, one of the reasons I'm making this, I'm actually seeing a lot of people being like, why IndyCar? Why iRacing? Why are you doing this? And it has nothing to do with iRacing. Like, it's not like they woke up one day and they were like, you know what? We don't care about IndyCar anymore. We're gonna remove it, and it'll be fine. No one's gonna. We're just gonna remove it on our terms. No, it's not how this stuff works. It's like the whole Call of Duty situation right now. It's like in 6 or 7 years from now, PlayStation is just gonna say, you know what? You're not gonna be allowed to play Call of Duty anymore. We're not going to put it on PlayStation anymore because F you. We don't. Again, it's not how it works. That is not how licensing deals and agreements work. This has nothing to do with iRacing. Obviously, in a perfect world, they would not have to change anything, and they would still do what they're doing. What is happening is Motorsport Games, who have the IndyCar license, which that's not new news. That's not new at all. They have the NASCAR license. They have the Le Mans license, 24-hour Le Mans, and BTCC. They have those licenses. Now, for the NASCAR license, and this is why this actually kind of shocked me today, just so you guys know why I'm making this, it shocked me because the NASCAR license has been in effect for a while for Motorsport Games. That was a console exclusive, so everything you see iRacing doing with NASCAR at the moment, iRacing runs the obviously the official NASCAR esports series, basically, that's growing and growing and growing. They have NASCAR all over their website. It's probably their most popular series, of course, on the service. It's great, right? That didn't change when Motorsport Games signed a licensing agreement with NASCAR until 2029. I thought the deal for IndyCar was very similar. I thought it wouldn't affect anybody else, and what's going on is just that Motorsport Games will have the exclusive license for IndyCar for consoles. That's what I thought it was. Maybe I didn't, I wasn't paying attention to the words, or maybe I just got complacent. I just didn't know. I thought it'd be similar to NASCAR, but apparently the license is different than the NASCAR license that Motorsport Games purchased. It is exclusive across everything, apparently. Not just consoles, but also PC, and I guess in like sim racing in general, I guess. Maybe this also does carry out to stuff like Forza, to stuff like Gran Turismo, games like that where, you know, for example, like Gran Turismo hasn't had NASCAR in a while. I don't remember the last Gran Turismo game that did have NASCAR in it. It was a while ago, but you know, ever since then they haven't been able to do it because of that console exclusive. This also includes iRacing. iRacing's not on consoles, so they kind of get they're not part of that, you know, deal. But it looks like when IndyCar and Motorsport Games were negotiating a deal, they came to the agreement on exclusivity 100%. Now, so you could look at IndyCar as to why did they do that. Obviously, Motorsport Games, this is a business practice that gaming companies do. It's not just developers and publishers, it's also the two big boys in terms of Microsoft and Sony. If you guys haven't seen all the news going on between, you know, with all the legality issues in terms of Microsoft trying to buy Activision and that whole mess, and Sony's trying to block it, and it's into the courts and they're trying to block it, and this happens, okay? Like, Sony has bought studios and made certain games exclusive. They have obviously the Spider-Man game that's completely exclusive until they bring it to PC like 2 years later. This stuff is common practice. It's not going to change because obviously if you have an exclusive license, you limit the possibility of the consumer going somewhere else. That's what you want when you're making the game. For us, we don't want that. We want options, ideas, competition. One of my biggest examples, I've talked about it multiple times on this channel, is the new golf games, you know, 2K and EA. Neither of them have an exclusive license, but both are now going to be making golf games. The fact that, you know, these two companies that take part in ridiculous practices in terms of stuff that really shouldn't be allowed, in terms of microtransactions and gambling and all that stuff, but at least, you know, that for the golf games there will be competition. EA will be making their golf game, and 2K makes their golf game. 2K signed Tiger Woods, EA signs the majors. So while there are two golf games, you could tell there still are exclusive deals within the games. EA has all four majors, right? They have the Open Championship, the Masters, they have the US Open, and they have the PGA Championship. And 2K with their golf game doesn't have any of that. They don't have any of it. But what they do have is an exclusive agreement with Tiger Woods. So Tiger Woods is in the 2K game, but he won't be in the EA game. So you see, while both are making golf games, there are still exclusive agreements in between. So these exclusives and stuff, it happens everywhere. I think the time and day in the early to mid 2000s where people were making different games and it was different companies making a game on a certain sport or whether it be something else, there was no exclusive agreements. That all changed when really EA started, you know, gathering up the exclusives, and then everyone else kind of followed suit, and now exclusives are a big thing. Obviously, I'm not happy with it. Obviously, I'm sure you're not happy about it, but this is the way that gaming is, and even on a bigger scale, like I said, it's happening with Microsoft and Sony, with Activision at the moment. So, you know, it's just going to keep going. This is just how business works. So back to IndyCar and motorsports, you know, when it comes to motorsports, NASCAR had exclusive kind of agreement with EA, you know, back in the day. That ran out, and then the license kind of jumped around, but iRacing has always been able to make those games. If you remember, even back in the late 90s, early 2000s, the NASCAR license wasn't exclusive. You had EA making the games, but you also had Papyrus making the games as well. So it was the mid 2000s where that kind of changed. My opinion on the IndyCar stuff, this definitely is not ideal. IndyCar is not, you know, let's be honest. IndyCar is not as huge as NASCAR. IndyCar is not as huge as Formula One. Formula One does have an exclusive deal with Codemasters, and now that is essentially with EA, which is never fun. But F1 games have been exclusive for a long time. No one can really make F1 content other than Codemasters, and now in part EA Sports. NASCAR have had exclusive deals, but the NASCAR license has taken a massive dip in value over the last decade because the games have not been good. IndyCar haven't had a game since 2005, so seeing IndyCar on the iRacing site and the community there was, it's been there for a very long time, since the beginning of iRacing. It's been very, very huge, and I was very excited to see Motorsport Games take up the IndyCar license to bring a IndyCar game to consoles. I didn't know that it would then in turn take away what iRacing had. In an ideal world, you would have both, like I said. I also, in my opinion, you guys can let me know in the comments down below, in my opinion, I don't view iRacing and Motorsport Games as technically competitors or rivals, because I view iRacing to be more of the PC genre. It does cost a lot more. iRacing memberships, just a 1-year iRacing membership, is over $100. That does not include buying all the cars, buying all the tracks, and if you want to just host a private session, you have to pay 50 cents or $1 for that too. So it's definitely in the upper tier of gaming. It's, more elitist, I guess you would say. And the consoles is more accessible. So when Motorsport Games is making console games and iRacing is doing their thing on PC, I don't really view the two as competitors, which is why when iRacing has all the NASCAR stuff on there and Motorsport Games has the NASCAR stuff as well, I play both and I enjoy both in my own different ways. So that's and I hope that doesn't change. I pray that does not change, that iRacing and whoever has the licensing for the consoles will always have that competition, or have those options, because you don't want to be forced into only one option. And so for IndyCar, yes, it's great that we're getting a game, but this news today that now you're going to lose some of the iRacing stuff as well is definitely not ideal. Now remember, you could still run the cars, you could still run the tracks, you could still run a private league, and with trading paints you can still run the paint schemes, and you can make it, of course, look, feel just like IndyCar. It's just that the logos, and especially the iRacing Indy 500 now, will not be available, which sucks, and it might, there might be more when it comes out. Now the reason why this is not the best news is because obviously Motorsport Games' reputation is not very good at the moment. We have to, again, just see, can they make a solid game that doesn't include all the controversy and the issues going around the company in terms of the stock market going public and investors dropping out, investors coming in, and the production of the games and all this other stuff that's going on. It doesn't include all that, or it does really include all that, as I want to say. So, with all that stuff going on, that's why a lot of people are really annoyed by this agreement, because, people get annoyed by exclusive licensing agreements in the first place, me included, but they look at Motorsport Games and they haven't seen them make a good game. Like NASCAR 21 was an abomination, so obviously they haven't seen them make a good game, so they're not having this thing happen is not good. Also, it's not good because all the changes will happen on December 31st, 2022, or at the end of start of 2023. That IndyCar game doesn't have a release date. It hasn't shown a trailer, hasn't shown gameplay. So ideally, or most likely, it is coming out in 2023. That's why the agreement ends in 2022. So that the IndyCar game should be coming out in 2023. Motorsport Games has said that it's coming out in 2023, but it's not out. So however long it takes to release, you take away that exclusive licensing, or you take away the branding and all that from iRacing. But there's nothing in place of that until whenever that game comes out that Motorsport Games is going to publish. And so we don't know how long that is. For a fact, there's no trailer, no gameplay or anything like that. So you have to assume it's a couple of months at the very least. So that's the situation. That's definitely not ideal. Let me know what you think, guys, in the comments down below. It happens. I don't really have anything else to say other than that. Like I said, in an ideal world, people get along and different companies get along, and everyone focuses on making the best games and the best experiences for the consumer while also still making money. But that is not the case. People want to make money. People want to, ensure that their products are successful. And one of the ways to do that is to limit the competition and the market around it. So we see it everywhere, and it is now into this as well. Again, I really hope that the IndyCar game is good, but I also, for the iRacing community and everyone there, it's not if the cars were being removed, I would have a much bigger problem, obviously. the cars will still be there, the tracks will still be there. So there will still be ways to have your IndyCar fix, along with trading paints and the paint schemes and stuff like that. You can still run an Indy 500. Obviously, it's not going to be iRacing doing it for you and having it really well set up and all that stuff. It's gonna have to be done internally, from whether it's your own league or your friends or something like that. So that's the frustrating part. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Are you mad? Are you upset? Are you in my camp where I'm disappointed but understanding? Like, this is the market. That's how it works. So I'm disappointed, but I understand how it works. And I am sure that iRacing will try to do the same with exclusive licensing agreements on other things as well, and we'll see how all that goes. The three, for iRacing, the three main ones for me, like what I'm interested in: Formula One, NASCAR, and IndyCar. They don't really have any agreements with any of them, but they do have a very, very good relationship with NASCAR. So as long as that stays, I will be very, very pleased. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'll speak to you guys tomorrow. And yeah, 2023 is going to shape up to be a very, very interesting year in terms of the landscape of motorsport gaming, just racing, like in the genre side. Because, Formula One with EA, I'm worried about that because I just feel like that game might stagnate because I haven't seen EA. It's exclusive. I've never seen EA with an exclusive game ever get better. I just have never, ever seen it. So, like, that worries me. Motorsport Games has IndyCar and NASCAR, and they've not made a good game yet, but both of those games, IndyCar and NASCAR, should be coming out in 2023, so the proof will be there. Can they make a good game? And the investment that they have is only for 1 year. So at the end of 2023, like, that literally could be it. And obviously iRacing is still doing their thing with the World of Outlaws and with Monster Games, and they're still doing all the iRacing stuff as well. So the landscape could, like, completely shift at the end of 2023 with a lot of these licenses and games, and unfortunately all the bad blood in the competition, which I don't care about. I just want good games. But in reality, it's very obvious that these different companies and different developers do not have good relationships with each other. And so, that's just how the cookie crumbles. I hate using that phrase, cookie crumbles. That's just how the cookie crumbles. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Anything that I missed out, anything, that you guys, what do you think? Comment down below. Let me know what you think. It's definitely a very interesting situation. Not the best news for IndyCar, because IndyCar, they're trying to grow. I want them to grow, and obviously being exclusive to one game is not the best. You don't want that. No matter how much money that deal is worth, no matter how much money IndyCar is getting from that deal, you want that exposure, because that could be more valuable than just the money that's coming in. Let me know what you think. Take care of yourselves. I will see you guys tomorrow. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram if you're not already. Subscribe if you're new, and peace out.